Well, I trained as a surgeon, and my intention was to be an academic surgical oncologist. But the first key decision I made while I was in my surgical residency was to do a year of cancer immunology research at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And that's where I learned about the power of the immune system to combat cancer, and I really became hooked on the idea that the immune system should be able to reject cancer the same way that it fights bacteria and viruses. My next key decision after I finished my surgical residency was to go down to the National Cancer Institute to do a surgical oncology fellowship with Steve Rosenberg. The NCI was a very unique training ground for clinical and translational research. And of course, Steve Rosenberg at the time was one of the few people who was really leading efforts in cancer immunotherapy. And then after that, my next key decision in 2006 was to accept an offer from Johns Hopkins to move to Hopkins to start a new melanoma program in the Kimmel Cancer Center. And at that time, investigators at Hopkins were starting the very first in human trial of anti-PD-1, in which I became involved as part of the leadership group. And then, of course, the rest is history in terms of the path of anti-PD-1 development. I would advise young investigators to always keep an open mind. There are many unexpected observations and things that happen as you're going through your path as a clinician or a laboratory researcher. So just keep an open mind about observations that you may make that don't fit exactly with what you expected. And I'd also say it's important to keep an open mind about your career path. I mean, certainly in my case, I changed course more than once during my career path. And I think people should be open to doing that. I would also like to say one more thing. People should not become discouraged if it looks as if their ideas are not working out. And this was especially true in the early days of cancer immunotherapy, when things that looked great in laboratory experiments just did not translate into humans. And those of us who have been in the field long enough remember when the cancer immunology and immunotherapy sessions at the big national and international conferences were held in very small meeting rooms. You were lucky if there were 100 or 200 people there. Now, of course, cancer immunology and immunotherapy are spotlighted and front and center at every major meeting, but there was a time when we were considered to be a fringe element. So bottom line, don't be discouraged if you think you have a good idea, be persistent. Well, this is a very special honor for me to be recognized by my peers in my field. It is very rewarding to reminisce with my peers, especially those in my generation, about everything that's happened in the last 3+ decades in cancer immunology and immunotherapy. I look forward to doing some of that at the upcoming annual meeting. But it's also important to keep looking ahead, and I am confident that is what all of us are doing to bring these treatments to even more patients and to make them even more effective than they are today.